morning, everyone. This is the 70th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. Two endings to it, which when I was a kid, my father was explaining that the war had ended, but not ended, because on May 8th, 1945 was VE Day, and on September 2nd, 1945 was VJ Day. And I was very confused, couldn't understand how a war could stop but not stop. But if you look at what's going on in Afghanistan, you'll see that wars never stop. I'm Dave Schrofer. We have here assembled members of the Coast Guard Auxiliary, Fire Department, and Police Department, the selectmen of our town. We observe this day, Memorial Day, to express our eternal gratitude for those women and men who unselfishly gave their lives while serving our country around the world during wartime. This day was originally called Decoration Day, honoring Civil War veterans, but now it includes World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, the Gulf War, and those who have perished in the current war on terror in Afghanistan and Iraq. We will have a presentation of the flag by the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, Flotilla 11-6. Mr. Mullen, sorry, where is it? Mr. Mullen. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chief Colhawick, the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We have a special guest, Kami Lyle, who will play taps. Kami? Thank you, Connie. Now I'd like to introduce you to the newest chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Elizabeth Gorin, and she will introduce the other selectmen who will be reading their selections.
Thank you, Dave. It's certainly a pleasure to be here, and I'm very grateful to my fellow selectmen for the honor of being selected chairman this year. I am also very pleased to see the crowd here today for this remembrance. It really is a tribute to all of those who have given up their lives for our freedom and liberties to have us here gathered today. So thank you for coming. I'd first like to introduce Linda Burt, who will read a poem Memorial Day.
Memorial Day by C.W. Johnson. We walked among the crosses where our fallen soldiers lay, and listened to the bugle as taps began to play. The chaplain read a prayer. We stood with heads bowed low. I thought of fallen comrades I'd known so long ago. They came from every city across this fertile land, that we might live in freedom. They lie beneath the sand. I felt a little guilty. My sacrifice was small. I lost a little time, but these men lost their all. Now the services are over for this Memorial Day. To the names upon these crosses, I just want to say, thanks for what you've given. No one could ask for more. May you rest with God in heaven from now through evermore.
And Vice Chair John Burt will read Flanders Fields. Excuse me. I didn't know that they didn't know. Excuse me, John Knight.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Legend has it that from the time of the Napoleonic Wars, the only flower to blossom in the burial fields were those of the blood red poppy in honor of the fallen. 100 years ago this month, May 2nd, 1915, a young Canadian artillery officer, Alexis Helmer, was killed by a German artillery shell. His friend, Major John McCrae, a doctor and the artillery commander, was asked to preside at the burial service for his friend. Upon seeing the poppies at that time that were growing in the burial fields, he was later that evening moved to begin writing or penning the now famous World War I poem, In Flanders Field, by John McCrae, May 1915. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the lark still bravely singing, fly scarce heard among the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field, by John McCrae. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I'd also just like to introduce the newest member of the Board of Selectmen, Bill O'Shea, who's here this morning.
Welcome, Bill, and thank you, select persons. I have one additional reading. This is by Amanda Bradley, and it's called Peace. Peace will come when people live in friendship side by side and cherish understanding more than hatred, greed, and pride. Peace will come when people see all people as the same, and no one has to live in fear, in ignorance, or shame. Peace will come when people who are needy can reach out for shelter, food, or love, and no one has to do without. Peace will come when people learn to listen and to care, about the rights and dignity of people everywhere. Peace will come when love and trust and kindness know rebirth. And on that day, all people will rejoice in peace on earth. Next, we will have a song written by a one-time local resident, Catherine Lee Bates of Falmouth, Massachusetts, America the Beautiful, Chief Cohawick.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate it. We have a tradition here where at this time we have a moment of silence, but if you wish, you may speak the name of a deceased or even living service person and their branch of the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, or Coast Guard, and perhaps whatever their role was in that. We'll begin the moment of silence now, and please call it out if you wish to, and we'd like to hear those names. And I will begin. Every year I do this in honor of my uncle who served in World War II. He was a captain in the then called Army Air Force and had a terrifically difficult experience when his plane was shot up over Italy. And he had to land the plane, but he didn't know, because all the communications were gone in his B-25, didn't know whether or not his tail gunner was alive or dead. And to land a plane that's been shot up, you have to land a tail first. And he never forgot that day, and he never really recovered from it. They didn't call it PTSD in those days, but it's exactly what it was, and it was very traumatic for him throughout his life. So to Fred Mueller, Captain Fred Mueller, I dedicate this. Please call out your names.
Captain Whitehead, 30 82nd, Artillery, Vietnam.
Gary Crum, United States Army, Vietnam.
Louis Marino, Marines, Vietnam. Brett Johnson, Marines, Vietnam.
Norwood, fireman, World War I, United States Navy.
U.S. Army, Vietnam, and Alexander Ocampo, Reserve, United States Marine Corps Intelligence Specialist, PTSD.
Steve Gill, U.S. Army, Iraq.
PFC Earl Bentley, Army, Vietnam, 1967, KIA.
U.S. Marine Corps, Vietnam.
Mark Vecchione from Eastham.
Lawrence Lewis from Eastham, World War II.
Norwood Christy Fox.
Canadian Army, served and were involved with Normandy.
Norwood Christy Fox, Army Sea Beast. Second World War.
Navy, World War II, Korea.
Peter Gill, U.S. Marine, World War II.
Staff Sergeant Arthur Fitzgerald, U.S. Army.
Eldridge Sparrow, Second Lieutenant. Vincent Gopher, U.S. Marines.
Major Bill Bracewell, World War II, Korea War, Vietnam. Staff Sergeant Donald E. Thomas, my father, and I want to say Corporal James C. Hatch, World War I.
Joseph Mitchell, World War I.
Coronel Jose Gil Cardona, Purple Heart, World War II.
Curtis Collect, Navy, Vietnam, MIA.
Rainer Nye, 2nd Army, U.S. Division, Medical Detachment, World War I.
U.S. Army, Vietnam.
Edward Pearl Brusco, World War II, Battle of the Bulge.
Cousin Lieutenant Robert McMinn, World War II. Parachuter captured by the Germans and spent several years in the German prisoner of war camp.
United States Air Force.
Thank you, everyone. Let us pray for their souls, that they will repose in heaven, and pray that those on active duty will be safe and return home safely. We thank all who have served in the past and present, living and dead, for their courage, bravery, and their service to the United States of America. And once more, we can prevail upon the chief to sing for us. And please, everyone, join in. We want to make this as loud as you can. God Bless America. Words and music by Irving Berlin.
As the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us pledge allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a life so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, through the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Chief. I think if we take you and Kami on the road, we can have a relax here. I want to thank the fire department, all the active duty persons who are with us today, the police department, also having active duty personnel here, United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, Flotilla 11-6 from New Orleans, but serving all of the Cape from Orleans out to Provincetown. I want to thank also Mike Caleri, who is our cameraman, Chris Blood, our audio engineer, Kami Lyle, thank you for coming from other towns to come and join us, and all the town staff members who helped put this together. And I want you to also to remember at 3 o'clock we have the National Moment of Silence, 3 o'clock this afternoon, in which you take the first moment, 3 to 3:01, to just be silent and to remember those who you came here to remember. And I thank you all for coming, and I wish you all, and this is a day that you should be happy that we have the peace and the freedom that we do have here in the United States. So I wish you happy Memorial Day. Details dismissed.